Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thanks for coming and checking out this video, but this video is very self-indulgent for me. It's a bonus video. Usually only do 4 videos a week, Monday to Thursday, UK time. But this one is going live on Friday the 4th of August. And that date has a significance for me because that's the day I got married to my wife. She wouldn't come on camera. I tried to get on camera, but she does exist, I promise you. Some of you would have seen her on the Discord channel when you've followed me on the stream. So there was only really one command that I could cover for today, just to say, happy anniversary, wife. And it is obviously Aragorn and Arwen wed. 4 green and white for 3/6 legendary creature, human, elf, noble. It's got vigilance, and whenever it enters or attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control, and you gain 1 life for each other creature you control. Only one thing for it, had to be a +1/+1 counter deck. Yes, it's been done before. I'm sure everyone's seen them all before, but hey, it's got the word wed in it, and yeah, I'm doing it. Sorry if you don't like it, but it's my wedding anniversary. Let me be indulgent. So here we go. Mana base, all the green white lands you can think of, entirely included, not including the really expensive ones. I did leave the really expensive ones out, but they're all here. We've got Minas Tirith here, and I don't think I put the Shire in, did I? No, I didn't. That's fine. So Minas Tirith's there. The rest of it is Mox Tantalite for the ramp side, Sol Ring, Arcane Signet, Marble Diamond, Moss Diamond, Talisman of Unity. Couldn't go too far on it. Yes, it probably should have the 1 ring in there, but that's so expensive on MTGO at the moment. There's no way I can justify costing that out. So Sol Ring's representing my wedding ring, just so we're clear. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about the deck itself. As I said, +1/+1 counter decks with a little bit of Lifegain chucked in. And it is very much a case of how can we get this to work. So the Lifegain side of it starts with Authority of Consuls. Then it's got Cleric class to give us an extra life every time we gain life. Lunarch Veteran is also here to gain us life, along with Soul Warden, Soul's Attendant, and somewhere down the bottom, Essence Warden. There we go. Gain a fair bit of life. Weathered Wayfarer goes and gets us a land, and it's any land, don't forget Weathered Wayfarer, which makes it that much better than some of the others. As you're watching this video, as you know, if you've watched any other videos this week, I'm on holiday with our dog. So this is representing our dog Ida. Yoshimaru the Faithful's here. If you want to see what my dog gets up to, Explorer with an A on the end instead of an ER _ Ida, EIDER. Go follow the Instagram account. You can probably catch the odd picture of me and the wife on there, along with lots of pictures of Ida as we're out learning. She's only 9 months old, so give us a follow over there. Be great, thank you. Anyway, done that bit. Absence Pilgrim for some mana ramp, along with Birds of Paradise. Collective Voyage is going to turn up in more and more of my green decks, or green base, green X decks, however you want to put it, as we go along. I think this card's fantastic. Going and getting those extra basic lands out of our deck and putting them into play for all the extra mana. Yes, our opponent's going to pump in mana, maybe, but I will quite happily pump it in and speed the game up a little bit. But the extra mana really does help us with this deck, so it's worth having there. Speaking of that, which we've got Elvish Mystics, Fire Norn Elves in here as well, just to give us a bit more ramp, and Llanowar Elves. Obviously, I said it's a +1/+1 counter deck, so Hardened Scales had to make an appearance for obvious reasons. And then I've also included Sunblade Elf. This is an interesting elf. I don't think it sees that much play in Commander. It's probably maybe because it's not good enough, but most of the time you play this and it'll be a 2/2 for 1 mana in our deck, and then when you've got a fair bit of spare mana kicking around, 5 mana to pump all our creatures. Not bad return. Anyway, benefits of the +1/+1 counters come in the Outlast creatures in green and white. So we've got Anok Bondkin here to give all our creatures with +1/+1 counters on first strike. Those creatures that haven't got +1/+1 counters on them can get given one by the Luminarch Aspirant. And Offenser will probably make sure that they do come in with +1/+1 counters on. And the Flowering of the White Tree will give our legendary creatures a big boost, including Ward 1, and act as an Old Crusade card to give all the other non-legendary creatures +1/+1. Farseek goes and fetches out one of the planes. Gala's greeters, because you always have people at a wedding who are saying hello as they walk in. This one gives you treasures or counters or life. Incubation druid, just so we can ramp it a little bit more. Rampant growth goes and fetches whichever one we're missing, probably a plains. Vine Lashe Kadusu, because I like +1/+1 counters, and a landfall one that triggers with +1/+1 sounded good. Avatar Resolute is a late game card. I'm going to be honest with this. You want to try and get this out later on in the game, just to maximise the amount of +1/+1 counters you can get on here. Conclave Mentor is also here to make sure we get extra +1/+1 counters, and I've just realised that I am one card missing from here. I searched out my Elixir of Immortality and I forgot to put it in, but never mind. Cut a card you want, put your Elixir in, just to make sure you can shuffle everything back in. Really quickly. Yeah, I don't know what I'm going to cut. If I find something I don't like as I'm talking about this, I'll cut it and do it. Anyway, Abzan Falconer makes all our creatures with +1/+1 counters on the flying. Heliod chucks around +1/+1 counters. We gain life, as you know. And so does Siege Veteran chuck around some +1/+1 counters, so it's not too sad. Beastmaster Ascension makes all our creatures massive when we get round to attacking, because getting 7 lore counters on here, quest counters, sorry, isn't that difficult with this deck. Cultivate goes and gets us a forest and a plains, undoubtedly, most of the time. And the Growing Rights of Itlamic eventually is our cheaper version of Gaze Cradle. You could probably drop this if you want to, put something else in. I'm not dropping it from here, but just saying. Kami of the Whispered Hopes does all the +1/+1 counter trick as well, so that helps doubling them up and provides us some mana if we need it to. Rishika Pima Renegade does even more +1/+1 counters on creatures and makes them tap for mana. So technically, if you've got a couple of creatures in play, you play Rishaka, you've still got a couple of creatures untapped. Rishaka only costs you 1 mana, so pretty good. Tuskguard Captain gives you the trample for the +1/+1 counters. Arwen, Weaver of Hope. Had to have the other version of Arwen in here, mainly because when each other creature you control enters the battlefield with a number of additional +1/+1 counters on it equal to Arwen, Weaver of Hope's toughness. Now, what I'm hoping would be the ideal situation is turn 2 Anafenza, turn 3 Arwen, because then in the next turn you're going to be having what, 1 maybe, so at least +2, maybe +3 +1/+1 counters coming in on creatures. It would be ideal. Not saying it's going to happen, but it would be ideal. Tribute to the Will Tree helps us get the +1/+1 counters on it, or if we've got big creatures coming into play, and we do have a few, get to draw some extra cards, which is fun. King Darian pumps up our other creatures, and I think I've just found the card I'm going to take out. So I'll just remove this and put in the Elixir of Immortality. See, quick change. But Torrens gets to say, when we cast creature spells, we get to create human soldier tokens with training, which is cool. Shalal, Voice of Plenty, pumps up our stuff for 6 mana and gives us and the planeswalkers and other creatures we control hexproof. Doesn't give it to itself, so it is vulnerable, but is worth the risk. Day of Judgment helps us control the board. It can be Wrath of God, but Day of Judgment seemed like something that people say happens on their wedding day. Not mine. I'm happily married for 22 years at the moment, so, you know. Nylea, God of the Hunt, gives all our creatures trample and gives us another way of sinking mana into something to make them bigger. Renata, Call to the Hunt, is also here. Another way of getting +1/+1 counters on our creatures, along with the Invasion of Moag, which, if we can get it flipped, does it at the end step each turn as well. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Lenore gives us a way to draw cards, because we will probably have 3 different creatures with different powers each turn, so that will help. Sigarda Paladin will probably have trample and lifelink most of the time with the amount of +1/+1 counters we're kicking around. Ao the Sky Dawn either gives us some permanents or +1/+1 counters, but it's a 5/4 flyer in the air. Cathar's Crusade, it's a +1/+1 deck. What did you expect? Not to have it in here and it's green and white? Yeah, that's here. Fantastic card. I love this card from ever since Restored. If you haven't got one, I've picked one up in real life. They're only starting to nudge up again at the moment. Still fairly cheap on MTGO, but they're nudging up in real life. Go and get one if you can. Doomscar's just a cheaper version of blowing the world up if we need to. Glorious Sunrise. Pump our creatures and trample or draw a card if we've got a creature with 3 or more. The other two, yeah, occasionally help, not that often, but yeah, it's the trample and the +1/+1 mainly that we're playing the Sunrise for. Verdurous Gearhulk chucks around all those +1/+1 counters when it comes in. It's always worth chucking one on the Gearhulk itself, so it comes in as a 5/5 for 5 mana with trample, which is very good value from my point of view. And Juniper Order Ranger. Now, I don't think we see enough of this in Commander. I'm going to be honest about it. I think people forget this card existed in Cold Snap. It does what we want it to do. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under our control, gets put a +1/+1 counter on that creature and one on the Ranger itself. Yes, it doesn't have any evasion. Yes, it doesn't, unless we've got something else in play like Nylea. But it does get big quite quickly and it pumps up our other creatures. People sleep on it and forget about it. I think it's worthwhile trying it out in this deck, hence why it's here. Mirari's Wake just helps us get our mana on the go even quicker, because that makes Gavany Township a lot cheaper. Nykthos Paragon is also here to give some +1/+1 counters when we gain life, and we do gain a lot of life, so even if it's just 1/+1/+1 counter on each creature, that's fine, no issue with that at all. Surek and Goreclaw is another way of putting +1/+1 counters on creatures as they come in, but the best thing with this is it also gives them haste as long with trample when they come into play because of the +1/+1 counters going on them. Yeah, like that. Hamanza, Guardian of Ashoin, is here because it makes our creature spells cost less because of the +1/+1 counters we have kicking around. And I missed one, and I did it on purpose. It's another card you don't see much of in EDH. Well, the game's half played anyway. Vigor. Why do people sleep on Vigor? Yes, you don't want to attack with it. Yes, it will get terrored, it will get terminated, so on and so forth. But just if you can get one attack in with your creatures that you have in play when Vigor's in play, oh dear, they are going to get really big really quickly. With so many +1/+1 counters on them, you're going to start alpha striking your opponents. And the best thing with Vigor is it has to be exiled. If it's not exiled, it just goes back into your library and you get to hopefully find it again at some stage in the future to help you out. But that's it. That is my little take on Aragorn and Arwen wed. Obviously, like I said, it's indulgent for me because it's my wedding anniversary today. So, wifey, if you're watching this, happy anniversary. We're going to have a great day while we're on holiday. But for everyone else, thank you for watching. Please, if you haven't before, hit the sub button. Come and subscribe to me. Give me a little bit of a wedding gift by subscribing. Well, wedding day? Anniversary. That's the day I'm looking for. Anniversary gift by subscribing to me. That'd be really kind of you. 220 as I record this. I don't know what I'm at the moment. It's like I say, I'm recording these in advance because I am on holiday. I will play this deck on stream at some stage when I'm back from my holiday. Maybe on the 13th, but I'm guessing it'll probably be the Thursday after that. But that's it. So thank you for watching. Thank you for letting me be self-indulgent on my day of my anniversary. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.